Welcome to Big Blend Radio, where we celebrate variety and how it adds spice to quality of life. Hey, everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Parks and Travel Show, and we love to go park exploring. Nancy and I do it all the time, and travel writer Debbie Stone, we call her the Fire Monkey. She's on our show every fourth Tuesday. I was going to say Friday, but every fourth Tuesday, talking about her adventures. But you know what? Honest to God, she has so many adventures that we can barely keep up with her, even though we travel the country full time. She went to a park that we visited last fall, New River Gorge National Park. It's one of our very newest national parks. She went there and we wanted to hear about her experience. So here she is today, and she's got an article up on nationalparktraveling.com. Links are in the show notes, but Fire Monkey, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Hey, so New River Gorge National Park. Nancy and I went there last fall, and we didn't get to do, because it's so spread out between all these communities. So we didn't get to the
Yes.
bridge, which I know that's like the apex. That's the must do. We didn't. We did the Sandstone Falls, and the fall colors where we were insane. So, but you had a completely different experience. I love this. I think every time you come on a show where we've been to the same places, we've had different experiences, which is cool.
I think it is. I think it is very cool. I think you take two different people, and they go to the same place. They can have totally different experiences based on a lot of factors. What are they interested in? What would they like to see and do? What do they have time to see and do? And so you can get totally different experiences, which is really fun. It's fun to get a bunch of people together that have been to the same place and hear all these different opinions, and also, oh, I saw that. Oh, did you? I didn't see that. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think you do that a lot on those small ship cruises too. You guys,
Yes.
you've been doing a lot of that, Greenland, and
Yeah.
in one of our recent
Yeah.
magazines. But I did want to say, like, you went, so, New River Gorge National Park is in West Virginia, and West Virginia is for lovers. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
yes.
But did you do this on the same trip as Gettysburg and
Yes.
Harper's Ferry, New Harper's Ferry,
Yes.
Harper's
Yes.
Ferry, all the same
Yeah.
time?
We did, we did Hershey, we did Gettysburg, we did Harper's Ferry, we did New River Gorge, and then on our way back up, we did Shenandoah as well. So we did a bunch of different
You
places.
did Shenandoah.
Yeah, we went and did the whole scenic drive there, and yeah, definitely. It was. I've been there before. I've been there a couple of times in the past, but it had been a number of years. But yeah, and it was beautiful because it was early fall, and so it was great weather, beautiful weather. Fall is the best time, I think, all over the nation, in my opinion.
I love fall and I love spring. Summer and winter, I don't like the extremes. I just
Yeah.
don't. I like that fall and spring can also give you surprises of a little snow,
Right.
here and there,
Right.
and mess
Oh,
with you a little
absolutely.
bit and remind you not to
Absolutely.
get too comfortable. So,
Yep.
you know, you know,
Yep.
it can do what it wants to do, but I just don't like the extremes.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
that's what
No.
happens with age. But, the New River Gorge, it is pretty interesting that it is, to get a park being connected with all these communities is not an easy thing. A lot of times I'll do it as a national heritage area. But obviously the bridge is a big deal. And you did the bridge walk from what I
Yes.
reading in you did it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not necessarily somebody who really loves heights, but somehow, as I mentioned in my story, I'm kind of like pulled like a magnet to them because I find that the heights, the experiences offer such incredible views and such a unique aspect to whatever it is the destination that I'm seeing. And so I had heard about this, and I thought, okay, let me check this out. I kind of looked at a video they had on there and saw what it was about, and it's very, very safe. You are clipped in, and it's a very safe experience. But it was amazing because the bridge is really quite, I don't know, it's quite an eye catcher. It's 876 feet. It's the third highest bridge in the country. It's a national landmark. It's just a marvel that's been featured on the state quarter. It's been on a postal stamp. It's been listed as on the National Register of Historic Places. It's unbelievable. So you can view it and view it from different angles, but to get to walk in the catwalk and walk under it, where you hear the traffic coming over you, but then looking through and looking at the view of this gorge and the river and the surrounding, beautiful verdant landscape. It was fabulous. I was fascinated with it, and my fear of I don't have an extreme fear, but I do not particularly enjoy heights. But I felt very comfortable up there, and I felt it was such a rewarding experience. And I encourage people to think about trying it because, like I said, it is really, really safe. The guide that goes with you, once again, guides are phenomenal in my mind, but, the guides tell you all about the bridge. They tell you all about the surrounding area. They tell you about the park. They tell you about the river. You can watch rafters way down below you come through, and it was a high point of my visit, really.
I think you're very brave. And I'm like, I'm wobbly at the knees and I've done all these mountain passes across the country and some of the most deadliest roads in the country and the world. And I white knuckle it and I almost pee in my pants, but I still do it. Thank you, Bob Marley on the radio. I have to play Bob Marley to get through it. But I do it. And it's a very weird thing. Like you're drawn to your fears, right? And
Yeah.
I think, we crave that if you're going to go travel and do stuff is to have these experiences, like a real
Yep.
experience. And we talk about transformational travel. That's, the new
Yes.
buzzwords these days.
Yeah.
But transformational travel is when you overcome a fear and, go for it. So I would say you did that with the
Yeah, and
bridge.
it really was a terrific experience. Like I said, I would do it again and again. It was just a phenomenal experience. But yeah, and it is a major attraction, and you can go and see it. Like I said, you can view it from different viewpoints in the park, and you can get really good views of it from. You go over to the well. First of all, the park is, like you said, it's very spread out. So people don't understand maybe if you haven't been there that it has several different areas. And you can go to one area and do this, that, and the other. Go to another area and do this. Go to this area, and it's a lot of historical. And so you have,
Yeah.
if you only have a certain amount of time, people will pick and choose where they want to go. If you have a couple of days, you can cover all those, different areas. But the distinct sections, the Canyon Rim, Grandview, Thurman Historical District, and Sandstone, are spaced a fair distance from another. So you will need a vehicle to get around. And if you're going to plan to go to several of those areas, I think the most popular is the Canyon Rim. They have a nice visitor center, but this is where you can see the bridge from lower, upper viewpoints. You can also drive a scenic road called Fayette Station Road, which you go around these hairpin turns, and you go to the bottom of the gorge, and you go across another bridge and up the other side. So you get these vistas of the river, you get the vistas of the bridge, and so that's another way to get your perspective of the bridge.
Yeah, we did Sandstone area and saw
Yeah,
the
the
Sandstone
falls.
Falls and
Yep.
in the fall. And the communities around there were so historic. It was
Yes.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
history. And
Yeah.
we did it from driving from Asheville, North Carolina, and we went through Appalachian country, and we went through parts of Blue Ridge Parkway. So,
Yep.
I want park travelers to know if you're doing these kinds of parks, like you can get there through, like what you were saying, even going from Shenandoah and all of that, you can go from different aspects, different
Right.
points,
Right.
depending on what your destinations and goals
Yeah.
are
Of
on a
course.
road trip. This
Yeah.
is like a central, like a little central new universe that you can tap into no matter where you're
Yes.
coming from. really, when you look at the park system, it is one of those places you can go from the upper or the lower. We ran out of time because we just kept hanging out at Sandstone and looking at the falls and did trails out there and got into the history of the communities and you know and we were on the Blue Ridge Parkway in the fall and we went to all these other state parks in Virginia on our way. Like seriously crazy. You fall is amazing out there, but
It is.
I'm gonna say spring and summer too. I mean, when were
I
you there?
think
What time frame?
I was there in the fall, early fall, so it was a wonderful
Okay,
time to be there. It wasn't too hot. It was just beautiful, and it was nice because a lot of the kids had gone back to school already, so it wasn't
nice.
overly crowded. So it was really quite nice. But this is a park. I don't know if people know, but it is the newest park. It is number 63 in the national park number list, and there are reasons for why parks become national parks, and when you're there, you understand that a lot of it has to do with, of course, the landscape and geology, with rivers and gorges, but then you also have this historical component in the park as well, and so if people are interested in hiking, there are wonderful hikes throughout the park. And if people are really interested in the history, go out to the Thurmond Historic District. It was a boom
Mm,
town at one time, and it was a railroad place, and so it became a ghost town basically because when the railroad went to diesel, and the mines shut down, things went into a decline. So, you can go to the historical depot, which still does, the train does still go through. You can walk around on your own. You can look at the buildings that are left there, and you can, look at it's called Commercial Row, and there's a coal tower. If you like waterfalls, like you said, you go to Sandstone. So the other thing that I think I would urge people to do, especially if they love photography, is to go to Babcock State Park, which is nearby and has one of the most picturesque grist mills that's there. That's actually still it is in working condition, but it is a gorgeous picture, and so a lot of people will head there for that picture, but also for the state park, which in its own right is beautiful and has a lot of hiking as well.
I love that you did this. I think it's so cool. And I think the places are amazing. These little communities. It's just so different. Like going, I know you're based in Santa Fe and you've traveled the country, traveled the world, but isn't it just a little bit different? It's almost it's like everything's so diverse. It's kind of a little bit of everything in these communities in a way.
Yeah, it's
History, nature,
wonderful.
and people are diverse. It's like, it's just
It's
different, nice,
it's
different,
it's great, and my goal has been to visit each of the 63 national parks in the country, and every time I go to one, I'm always just amazed at there's everyone is unique, and there's a reason for it being a national park, but it gives you such a unique experience, whether you're doing a park on the East Coast in the middle of mountains, whether you're doing a park on the ocean, whether you're doing a park in the middle of the desert. It's fascinating to me to see the different landscapes and the diversity in the national park
You've
system.
done so many national parks. Have you done all of them, or where are you? Do you
I
even count
have
them?
I have two more in the lower 48. I
Oh,
will be doing Michigan and Minnesota in June.
ooh,
I am going to America Samoa in January,
no
and
way!
yep, I'm
Seriously.
heading there. And then I have about four more in Alaska that will have to be put together. They're
And just as
somewhat
you do that, you know
challenging.
what? They'll have another national park for you.
Of course, I hope they
Doesn't
do.
that
I
what
want to.
happens? I know. I know. It's like addictive. It is like
Very much so.
it chocolate and wine, you know that. Pizza, Nancy and I are like those are some of the main food groups in our lives, cheese,
Yes,
chocolate,
yes.
wine, pizza, right? Um, but honestly, national parks, and not just
Yep.
national parks, but parks are
Yeah,
it's everything. It's like it's an adventure. Like where are we going?
it
What's going
is.
to happen? Are we going to see this? What's going to happen? And no matter what, you can plan all you want. Something new will happen. You're going
Of
to
course.
find something. You're going to see something you didn't know about. And then next thing you know, you're going to learn about mushrooms that you didn't know about. You're going to learn about caterpillars you didn't. Eventually, you're going to
Right.
start naming them. Like, isn't that weird? Like suddenly you
I
know all
think it's,
these weird things that you never
but
thought
it's
you would know about.
wonderful. But
It's
it's a
darn
wonderful experience,
exciting.
and you can keep going back to the same national park and find so many new things to do, or
Oh,
see so many new
oh,
things, you know.
that's the thing
So
about New River Gorge because it's so spread out
yes,
and the community, I'm all about communities being
right.
connected with the park. You're never going to run out of experiences
No,
ever.
it's fascinating. There's so much to see. I mean, this is a park that I think is 70,000 acres of land, and it's between a few towns, and so it's you'll never run out of things to see and do. But I've been back to several national parks many times, and each time I go, I'm thrilled by the experience. I never go and say, same old, same old. Never.
I know it's not because there's the natural life and the history life that
Yeah.
also keeps history still grows. History
Yeah.
grows, so it's like bread. If you think about history, it just keeps expanding itself like my belly.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we don't need to talk about that. Everyone, Debbie's got an awesome article up on nationalparktraveling.com. Links are in the show notes, especially for the National Park Service, which is nps.gov/NERI. Also, bridgewalk.com if you're interested in doing the
Yes.
bridge,
Yes.
walking the bridge, walking that tightrope. Go to bridgewalk.com and that will also be in the show notes. So thank you so much, Debbie. Fire monkey, I always have to call you the fire monkey, you know,
Well,
sorry.
thank you very much, and safe travels to you.
And to you too. Where's your next national park?
Not, that would probably be the Samoa one in
Oh,
January.
that's right. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
A little
Anyway,
jealousy.
stay
A little
stay
jealousy is
tuned.
good. Oh,
Stay tuned.
we can't wait. We can't wait.
All right, take care.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. Keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com.